Hey Fair Faces, it is Clary Berry. I want to talk with you guys just for a second about fat. Big surprise, talk about fat a lot. Fat is on my mind. Those of you who watch my channel know that I count fat. If I do count anything when I'm eating, I'm not counting calories. I believe in calories. I believe in energy. Fat is different because fat goes directly to your fat cells. You guys got to know this. This is a basic that everybody needs to know. When you eat fat, I've learned about this numerous times, like during Rider, freely, even on What the Health, they talk about this. When you eat fat, it goes directly to your fat cells to be stored. When you eat carbs, without the fat, clean carbs, then your carbs will turn into glycogen. They will be sent relatively quickly to either your muscles to be used, or if they're not needing to be used right then, they'll go to your liver. So that doesn't make you fat if something's being stored in your liver. But when you're eating fat and it goes directly to your fat cells, then yeah, that makes you fat. And I know when people do like low carb and stuff, a lot of times they're not actually losing fat. They're like, oh, woohoo, the scale says I'm lighter, like I'm losing weight, even my clothes fit better. They're losing water. They're not actually losing fat a lot of the times. So I wanted to talk about this. I started to just check out this website. It's Self Magazine's nutrition data page, and I started looking at it. I don't even know how I got there, honestly. I was looking for the omega-3s. I just had a conversation with like my boss the other day talking about omega-3s, and it's one of those things. It's like protein. I compare it to protein all the time. Everybody's all about it. It's the big buzzword. It's all hyped up. Everybody just thinks you need it, you need it, you need it, you need it. Maybe they've heard people are deficient or not. In protein's case, no. Nobody's fucking deficient in protein. But they're like, oh, if we get more, it's better. More equals better because we're Americans, I mean, not all of you guys are probably Americans, but I know here in America and in most first world countries, people who are going to be watching this video are, going to understand that mentality. More is better, quick fix, got to be just getting as much as possible. And they don't even know how much they need, okay? So, like, when people ask you about protein, it's like, well, did you even, are you getting enough protein? Well, how much do you actually think is enough? Because if you go to the, protein sellers websites, calculators, they're going to tell you need a lot more protein than if you go to like the World Health Organization's websites. But anyways, back to back to omegas, it's the same thing. There's no established limit or recommended daily allowance for this. And the best research that I've found shows that it's not about getting a certain amount anyway. It's about your ratio with omega-3s to 6s. And, we know so little about nutrition, actually. It's very hard to study nutrition. And a lot of the good studies that would have been done are not just being funded because the people who are funding the studies have something to sell. And in the chia seeds, that is the case. I'm not hugely anti-chia, but I don't really use them very often. I don't think that supplementing really even with omega-3s is going to be necessary if you're eating a good enough diet with lots of whole fruits and vegetables and things like that, and eating a lot of them. People tell you, oh, you need salmon. How are you going to get your omegas if you don't take fish oil or whatever? First of all, let's just be clear that plant foods actually have more omega-3s than salmon. Salmon, when I calculated in, there's a bunch of different kinds of ways to prepare it. But the one I checked was just a dry cook on a wild salmon. And it gave me a number of like 3,982 milligrams of omegas. And I'm not even sure for what amount. None of these, I think it was just all for like a per serving or whatever. So you have about 4,000 for salmon. Actually closer to 5,000 per serving of chia seeds. Okay, so chia seeds actually has more. I have it specifically at 4,915. Chia seeds are cheaper, easier to prepare. They're plant foods. They don't have all the negative things that come along with salmon. Saturated fat, pollutants. Not going to have nearly as many pollutants. Not going to have animal cruelty. You're not going to be contributing to the knocking out all the fish out of the ocean and all these other animals that are being killed as well whenever you're trying to catch fish. So right there, you have a big incentive to just go ahead and eat chia seeds. But What if you don't like chia seeds? What if you can't get chia seeds? What if you forget to eat your chia seeds? Like, I've had some forever and I just never use them because I don't know, like, I don't have a way that I love them. I mean, honestly, the best way is to like put them in some lemonade and drink them, or like just sprinkle them on. I just use a little bit if I'm going to sprinkle it on rice or something, which I kind of like that. But you're supposed to kind of have them with something wet, you know, so they can kind of absorb, or else drink a lot of water afterwards. They kind of, because they kind of do that gelatinous thing and they can get real thick and maybe cause, you know, some problems. But here's the deal. I want to illustrate this not only to show you, wow, you can get omegas from other sources, but to show you the way our minds are manipulated by the industries, okay? So I know for a fact that chia companies were funding studies about omega-3s and all of this stuff, okay? And that's great. I'm not talking smack on chia seeds. If you like them, if you eat them, whatever, that's great. I'm just saying they have a lot of fat and you don't need them. It's inundated in our brain. Omega, omega, omega. You need to get your omegas. Like, so many people are like deficient in omegas. So therefore, health conscious people are like, okay, start sprinkling chia seeds on everything, flax seeds on everything, like all this stuff. And it's like, no. You know, I mean, as far as I know and as far as I've researched, like, it's not just about adding omega-3s as much as possible, because fats are fats, okay? And they're gonna, you know, if you eat too much of them, they are going to cause other problems in your body. Certain foods can be great, but if you eat too many, like green tea, good for you, but if you eat too much of it, you know, then you're gonna have a problem. Really hard to do that. But just, you know, for example, people think, oh, well, chia seeds has all these omegas. Salmon has all these omegas, so other foods must have none, right? Wrong. Just like with protein, just like with fat, other fats, and everything else, you have to do the research. You have to realize that the animal foods, first of all, are getting the nutrients from the plants. And plants, it's important to eat a wide variety of plants because there are so many different foods. And we think of, oh, well, this is a good source of that. And we hear these buzzwords, we read these articles, and then you don't realize, well, you know, there's a lot of other foods out there that actually can benefit you in that same way. I didn't write down the amounts of all of them. I think the highest plant, you know, fruit or vegetable that was listed was radish seeds, and that was 3,358. So right there with salmon, okay? I don't know a lot of people that eat, you know, sprouted radish seeds or whatever. I might look into it. Actually, I think I might have some, or at least a mix with radish seeds. So that's a really good idea. Okay, but keep in mind, that's one serving, okay? So let's say you like radish seeds and you ate 2 servings, then you'd have more salmon, you know, than you'd eat 1 serving of salmon. And again, your fat is going to be so much lower. So don't think you have to eat high fat to get your good fats. That's my main point, okay? Some of the other top sources that are in the 2000s, broccoli. I think Chinese broccoli was the highest, but lots of other types of broccoli, a lot of greens. And I knew this about greens, spinach, arugula, romaine even has 1,329. So for somebody like me who's eating numerous servings of romaine a day, like if I eat romaine, I'm going to eat at least 2 or 3 servings of it. So bam, right up there with the chia and the salmon, okay? And peppers, you've got cauliflower, you've got turnip greens, collards, Brussels sprouts, pinto beans and kidney beans, zucchini, winter squash, soybeans, leeks, eggplant, even potatoes were pretty high up there. So the thing is also that I want to reiterate about omegas and about protein is that when you're vegan and you're eating more of these things and your body, like people will say, oh, well, you know, we're not that efficient at getting those omega-3s out of that lettuce and stuff. Well, yeah, if you eat more of them, then your body becomes more efficient at that. It's not like it's impossible. It's there. Your body's gonna, especially if your body's actually really smart. I learned in nutrition class, like if your body needs something, it's gonna be able to get it. It's gonna make concessions to get that substance, that nutrient out of the food. And if your body, let's say you have enough vitamin C, you have way too much vitamin C, your body's gonna be like, okay, I pass. We're gonna let that go out of the system. It's like taking a B12 supplement. You know, I mean, pretty much everything except for the fat soluble, you know, vitamins A, D, E, and K are going to be, you know, able to pass through the system if there's an excess. So keep that in mind. Like if you need something, you're going to be able to probably get it a lot better. And again, your body gets used to it. But so if I'm eating, let's say I have a meal, you know, I have my romaine, I put my pinto beans on top, which I always eat, and I have another meal of broccoli, like I'm going to get my omegas. I'm not supplementing omegas. I'm not focusing on getting omegas, but I am going to still get them and get them in abundance by eating this, because I'm not having one potato. I'm going to have 2 or 3 potatoes, you know? I'm not going to have one serving of lettuce. I'm going to have a big ass fucking super salad. Same thing with soybeans or any of this stuff. Eggplant even. Like you eat a lot more when you're vegan if you're eating high carb, low fat, because these foods are more voluminous. They have more volume. They have more volume. They fill you up. Maybe not for as long a period of time, unless you're talking about potatoes, which is the most satiating food in the world. But they fill you up. You know, it takes up more of your stomach. And you find yourself being able to eat more. Your stomach is a little bit more stretchy. Even iceberg lettuce has a little bit of, and it's only like 37, but it has 37.4 milligrams of omegas. So, you know, not quite up there, but again, you're getting omegas out of every little food. And the more healthy foods you eat, the more of a balance that you're going to have. And I think when you have problems is when you start eating a lot of even just polyunsaturated fats, all these fats with a lot of omega-6s, a lot of nuts, a lot of seeds. Again, I'm not anti-nut or anti-seeds. I just think it's very easy to overdo. And you have to keep in mind your total fats, which should be very, very low, lower than everybody thinks. I mean, normal people think a low-fat diet is 30 freaking grams of fat a day, and that's pretty average. That's pretty normal. So true low fat, you know, is real low, like 5% of your day or 10% of your day, 15, you know, maybe. So I just wanted to share, you know, what I learned. I thought it was really interesting. Let me know if you think it is, or if you have any questions or comments or anything else you want me to look into. Should be doing a lot of videos here in the upcoming weeks and months. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned and don't forget to eat your fruit. Bye.